You will absolutely not believe how dumb I am. I was attempting to make this sock, and I short rode in, got to here, and somehow lost my mind and scrapped off. Of course, the complete toe requires that we also short row out so we can Kitchener stitch here. But I figured all is not lost. This is a chance to show you that it is possible to hang knitting back on the sock machine in case you have some sort of a brain freeze as I did. I suppose there could be other reasons. If you need to remove the work to attend to something else important, such as the machine requires maintenance, you could scrap off carefully and then resume the work. I need to finish the toe, which involves only half of the stitches. So I need to hang the half that are involved in the toe. In this case, unfortunately, there is an extra challenge, 2 extra challenges, because what has to be hung includes some stitches with the automatic wrap on them from going into hold, and we'd like to preserve that to preserve the neat, tight join along the short rows of the toe. Also, I used thin lycra run-along, and that makes the stitches more closed and harder to pick up than regular stitches. By regular, I mean only using one strand of sock yarn. Of course, there's waste yarn all the way around, so I need to be careful that I only do hang the toe stitches, and I'll have all kinds of strange waste yarn to remove later, but that's no problem. Because of the various challenges involved here, and I need a really good view of what I'm doing, I am using the 30 needles that I can see the best and access the best rather than the 30 that the toe was originally worked on. It won't matter as long as I keep track of where I am in the actual knitting. If you were hanging a sock that was already partly made, but you had not yet done the toe, you would need to be certain that you got your toe oriented opposing your heel. You don't want it partway around the sock. What I'm finding is that sometimes it's possible to pick up both the stitch and the wrap at the same time. But on other occasions, such as here, I've picked up one and then the other and hung them both on the same needle. Just depends how tight the stitch is pulled and how much your tool can get into it. But actually, it's working pretty well. It's not as hard as I had feared it would be. I started in the middle of the toe so that I could begin with stitches that were just stitches, no extra wrap, and then I'm moving all the way to one side, and now I'll need to go back to the other side. To me, it just seemed simpler to start with stitches that didn't have a wrap. As always with the circular sock machine, periodically you'll find that the yarn carrier is in your way. I put a little bit of weight on the waste yarn so that I'd be able to turn it out of my way. Now going back in the other direction, here's a little bit better view of me picking up a stitch and then the wrap and hanging them on the same needle. Those were quite easy to see. The next one, the stitch, is easy to see, and it's harder to discern where the wrap went. The secret is good light and patience and standing up to stretch when you need to. It's also a really good thing that my waste yarn is bright white, which is not a color that exists in the sock yarn. So that helps me to avoid confusion. Just a few more to go. Here I varied my technique, hung all the stitches first and then picked up all the wraps. And naturally, it's super important to make sure that no stitches are missed. All 30 actually get hung. I did get them hung and short rowed out in the normal way and then scrapped off. And the sock is saved. I sped this up so as not to bore you, but the actual time that it took was about 7 minutes to hang the sock toe.